What's up YouTube, this is Paul from Mickey Tech Tips, and today we're going to be talking about my experience with Windows Phone 10. And this isn't going to be like some phone review that people usually do. Instead, this is going to be an experience overview with the Windows Phone because not many people have played around with it. Personally, I've played around with everything from BlackBerry to Android to Apple, but I've never played around with a Windows Phone before. So, let's get started. Also, before I start, I'm going to try to have some screen capture on there, but Microsoft kind of made it difficult to do that, so I'm having to use like some app that's connected to my computer and then use a screen capture software there instead of just being able to get a screen capture app like I could on Android, or just plug the phone up into a capture card like if you were for an iPhone. So I'm going to try to record it with my PC and try to insert footage as we go along. So with that, let's actually get started. Alright, so the first thing you notice is when you turn the phone on, you get a lock screen similar to what you would get on a Windows computer that runs Windows 10 or maybe even Windows 8, because the lock screen is still the same. And so you swipe it up, you get your password like normal, you put in your password, and then you're greeted by the home screen, which is typical for a normal phone. So then you're wondering, what should I do now? So one of the things that I found neat was the Windows Store. So basically this is where you'd get your apps and stuff. Oh crap, I don't have the Wi-Fi on, so hold on. And if some of you guys are asking why don't I have data, it's because I don't have my actual phone SIM card in it anymore. But here we are. So here we are, we're greeted by the Windows Store. So you can get a few different apps. I got like Despicable Me, Minion Rush, Where's My Water, Remote Desktop, Facebook, Pandora, Instagram. Some of the same apps you'd get on most devices. But the problem is they're the third largest app store out there. The first one being I think iOS. The second one's Google Play. And by the way, Apple's App Store and Google Play, they flip-flop around on who's number one and who's number two because of the features of the operating system all the time. So those two are on the top two spots, and this falls under number 3. And I think BlackBerry's like number 4. So you're greeted by a lot of the same apps that you can get, like Smashy Road, Wanted, Hill Climb, Candy Crush, and you can get all 3 Candy Crush. All sorts of different apps. Neat, huh? Well, the only problem I have with the apps is that the Google app, let me find it, is very basic and plain. It hasn't been updated in like 2 years according to some forum on the internet, so I don't know why they haven't updated it. So there's that. The problem with it is it has been updated recently, I think, but the problem is it's still way behind its Android and iOS counterparts, because the main thing I like using the Google app for is Google Now, which is the assistant that shows you different kinds of cards and stuff that says like, oh, it takes 20 minutes to get home because of traffic and all that, or stuff like, oh, your stocks are doing well, or oh, the weather's doing fine. So it's more than just a voice assistant, Google Now is. It's more like it shows you all the stuff that matters to you. So this don't even have that on there. It has voice search. Isn't as good. Weather. Yeah. Isn't as good. It looks more basic, like on a basic text browser you would get. But anyway, there's that. Don't really care for it now. I do use Google Now on Android. I don't use it on iOS though, just because the Google app seems like more of a hassle than the Android one is, because Android, everything's integrated together, that's Google, so yeah. But this one, it's very basic. Also on the Google app part, Google refuses to support apps for this. And the reason why I say that is because if you go to the YouTube app, watch. So it brings up a nice little shortcut, then it brings it up into Edge. So I honestly do not know. Basically, what was it? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, so basically it brings it up in Edge. So you have to use Edge for it. So one thing I noticed, you cannot do YouTube live streams on here, which I'm not meaning start a live stream, but I mean you can't do that neither, but I mean watch any YouTube live streams on there just because it won't let you. Now I've also noticed that on this, if you go watch a video, it's super slow at watching it. And the reason why I say that is because I would sit there, have to wait, maybe refresh the page sometimes, and then I'll end up doing a speed test. I was only getting about 15 megabytes down, which is slow because I'm supposed to get about 20 to 25 megabytes, and I was only getting about 10 to 15 megabytes down, and so it's taking forever. And that might not seem a lot, saying you might be thinking 5 to 10 megabytes slower. That's a lot for internet. So it was super slow. So I ran the LTE test when I still had the SIM card on the phone for that 1 week that I used it as my daily driver. I was getting faster LTE speeds than I was home Wi-Fi speeds, and I thought, I'm going to run this test again, but I'm going to run it on my Droid Turbo 2, and I was getting my 25 to 20 megabytes per second down, so I think it's either a hardware limitation or it's probably like a software limitation. I honestly don't know. Let's see. What's the next thing to talk about? If you see me duck down, I'm looking down at some of my notes. Next thing I'll talk about is online synchronization. So basically you're supposed to be able to go into, let's see, what was it called again? OneDrive. I'm still wanting to call it SkyDrive because I've used SkyDrive ever since it came out, and then I went over to Google Drive. So when they changed the thing to OneDrive, I'm still used to calling it SkyDrive because I used to use it when it was SkyDrive. But anyway, it's supposed to be able to sync up to SkyDrive. Now I'm not opening it, not SkyDrive, OneDrive. I'm not opening it, the app, just because I have personal stuff on there still. But I went to go try to sync it up so I could use the Groove Music app, which is their version of like the Google Play Music or the Apple Music. And I only have ever bought one song from them, so that song was in there. But then I went to go put my other songs in. Wouldn't work, so I did some investigation. You had to put it in a music folder on OneDrive, so I did that. Went to go download them. I was gonna have to download the songs one by one by one. I could not just click download a photo like I could in Google Drive, or like download a playlist like I could on Google Play. I think it's a similar way of Apple Music. I honestly don't use the cloud features that much. I just mainly use the Google ones because everything's hooked up to that. So I went to go do that. I was gonna have to download them one song a piece. I did not want to do that, so I gave up on that. And so when I listen to music, I use the FM radio on here, which is actually pretty sweet. Let's see. Let me enter my password again. Let's see. So here's the FM radio. As you can see, I listened to 102.7, which is one of the local radio stations today. But it's neat because you can go through and you can change with that. You got favorites, got some programmed in, all sorts of neat little stuff. So good for that, because if it wasn't for that FM radio, I don't think I would be using this for music at all. Also, Pandora's on there. It's okay. Another thing I'm gonna bring up is that all the apps that you usually would get on like other devices like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, they're totally different from their counterparts on Android and iOS. I'm gonna bring up the screenshots that they have in the Windows Store just because I don't want to show my stuff off. I think they got screenshots in here. Well, they don't have. Oh, here we are. Here's screenshots. But here we are. So whoever this is, if you look, all the stuff that's usually at the bottom's up there. There's some more stuff. Some more stuff. So it's different from what you normally see. What's the other one? I think it's called Facebook. I don't think anyone still uses Facebook. Actually, I'm just joking. People use Facebook every day. I just don't use it that often. So here we are. Here's Facebook. It looks similar, but still not the same. It's not the same. The next one I'm going to look up is Twitter, because that one was the biggest one that changed on this. Here we are. So everything's at the top. It'll only show about 2 to 3 posts at a time. And there's all that. I actually have a lot of screenshots on now. And I'm also looking over here because the screen's showing up on my computer screen too, because of that screen recording thing. But anyway, so Twitter only shows about 3 posts at a time. Now I want to point out something on mine. If you look, actually I'll show you how to do that. So you hold down the back button. So you look, all my recent apps open. It's because, and actually it wouldn't look like this if it was set to that. If you start at the default settings, it would actually show one at a time. But I turned down the text scaling from like 300 down to like 250, 225, just because I felt everything was so cluttered on the screen that it was smashed together and it just looked too big. So I did that, and it made everything smaller. And you can close out the apps like this. It's very simple. So I turned it down. It works out a lot better than the 300% text scaling. Now some of you guys are asking why not 100, because that makes everything really small. So I turned that down. I'm not going to go into the text messaging and phone apps because those actually worked pretty well. They're the pretty basic stuff. I'm going to say this. There was no third-party texting apps or keyboards. So like I use Verizon Messages for everything because I can have all these other features that my other one can't. So when I'm texting people on Verizon, I can do all sorts of stuff. No Verizon messaging app on here. Also, I use it so I can see my text messages across devices that I've sent and received. And then somewhat would work, but I couldn't see the messages I sent if I used this. But anyway, so they had no Verizon messaging app, so I was stuck using the stock messaging app. Voicemail, I use a company called Umail, so I was using a third-party voicemail app. All sorts of stuff. If I was still using Google Voice, I was going to have to use I was going to have to look it up in Edge, which, by the way, some of these sites that have Android apps but don't have Windows Store apps, and you try to go view it in the web browser, it don't always work because it thinks you're on an Android device and tells you to go get the app. So I had to look for some third-party apps, and it kind of sucked because, like, Google Play Music, my main music library stuff, the software app thing, they didn't have it on there because of the Google limitation, because they don't want to make apps for Windows Phone. The reason for that is, if I haven't said already before, it's because they're afraid if they make the apps for it that Windows Phone's going to overtake them because it has some neat features. Now, iOS, the only reason why they made it for them, since they're a competing platform, is because there's so many people on iOS. Windows, they didn't see it that beneficial, so they just released a Google app and called it a day. Also, I wanted to say one more thing. There was some app limitations. When I did a benchmark on Android and on here, it said that the scores would not be the same on Android because there was no like 3D benchmark, so I couldn't see all the cool graphics and stuff. So I don't know why they couldn't do that, but it's just some limitation. That there was no third-party keyboards, basically no third-party app support at all. If you were to run something besides the stock Windows stuff. Now there are third-party apps, but you can't use some of the features that you'd use on iPhone, like keyboards and all that, or Android. So I honestly think that's very limited. Other than that, some of these apps that are on here, like the Family Guy one's behind the other ones because it doesn't have platform sync. Some of the other ones are still very basic. Minecraft, I've not played it on here. I think it's about the same as everything else because Microsoft owns it. But there's all sorts of stuff on here. My conclusion is that there's no apps. if I were to use this for a daily driver, I would probably have to carry around this iPad or like my Nexus 7. So I wouldn't use this for a daily driver device, even if you paid me. So unless they can get some more apps on here, I honestly don't plan to use this as a main device. Now the neat thing is I've gotten into a habit of carrying this around, so it is a great device though if you do want just a basic device to check like Facebook and stuff on it. But if you're someone that requires all the apps that everyone else uses, then I would say don't go with this. But in general, if you're just going to get on Facebook or maybe Instagram, you could get away with it, but it just does not stuff like Snapchat, no Google apps, stuff like that. So would I ever try this again? Sure, if they get more apps. I plan on using this still from time to time just because I got it with a promotion, so I'm not wasting any kind of money on it. I've gotten used to carrying this around. It's neat because if my Droid dies, which it doesn't because it's got that big battery, I have a backup phone. And also if I wanted to carry around a SIM eject tool and take my case off, I could swap SIMs into that phone. So I have an extra phone just to play around if I don't want to waste my Droid battery. That's a good thing. Another good thing is that this does run relatively great on lower end hardware. So like this has a Snapdragon 800, not the best processor out there for a phone, but it runs it. I only paid like $200 refurbished, and actually that wasn't even my money. It was like some promotion where I had a $200 Verizon gift card, so it worked out. Other than that, I think I might just load media up onto it, because if you were to use this as a media player and you just loaded everything up from your PC, I think that would work fine. Honestly, the thing I do want to try out though is the Cortana feature, where you can plug a Windows phone up into your computer monitor and plug up keyboard and stuff into a dock and use it like a desktop-like experience. So maybe I'll go blow the money and try out the 950 or 950 XL, or even any of the other phones that support it, because right now the current ones don't. Maybe I'll go blow that money to try it out, but honestly I doubt it. But I honestly think that's a great feature. This Windows phone, it does work great. It is sleek. It is a Lumia icon. Get on Verizon, but it looks really nice. I just wish there was more potential. That same thing with my BlackBerry tablet, just no apps. Now, I honestly could see older people using this that could maybe learn how to use it after a while, just use it for basic stuff. But me as a power user, I'm not going to use this as a daily driver. Now I would carry this around, as I said, for a secondary driver. If you're still watching by now, because I just rambled on about all of this stuff, and I probably have repeated myself once or twice, but remember to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. I plan on doing a Windows 10 desktop review Thursday, and then Saturday I plan on reviewing this together. One thing I am going to mention in all of these is the cross-platform synchronization. Oh, also forgot Cortana's on here. Didn't use it because I didn't want her having my location, because Microsoft's been selling off people's information. But there's even a button for it, but I never really used it just because I didn't find it useful. But with that, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.